All right, let's do 9-6 here today. So note packet, we're in the very last section. Like I said, this is really just a giant culmination of all your skills, meaning it's a free-for-all today. I might use Pythagorean theorem, we know it. I'm going to use SOH-CAH-TOA for sure, and I'm going to have to find some angle things. The only thing I'm probably not using today from chapter 9 is the 45, 45, 90, 30, 60, 90s. We're probably not going to see those. But everything else we can use today, my friends. So before we get into it, let's just review. Now, this is totally up to you. I always write it on my paper just so it's in front of us. Let's do the SOH-CAH-TOA. Let me just write it out for us. Are we ready? How are we doing? I see people. So bring it back to it. So find the value of x in the triangles below. So one of the things, of course, you have to sometimes look at these triangles today, and you just have to magically know what you're going to use to solve it. I'm not going to tell you, hey, it's a 45, 45, 90. I'm not going to tell you use Pythagorean theorem. I'm not going to say use SOH-CAH-TOA like I have in the past. You just have to look and know what the heck you're doing. So clearly 52 is not one of our special triangles. It's not 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90. If it's not a special triangle, SOH-CAH-TOA is our best friend today. So I'm going to label my sides accordingly, of course, from my 52. We've got the side across the right angle. We all know that's the hypotenuse. And then they give you the side next to the angle, next to adjacent. So I'm like, okay, which trig ratio has adjacent hypotenuse? The middle one, cosine. So I'm going to do cos of 52. Now make sure you do the sides in the correct order. It's adjacent first over hypotenuse. So there's our setup. Geometry. Now we're into the algebra solving. Clearly we want to get rid of the denominator, so we always multiply by the bottom of the fraction. And then from here, most of you can probably just go straight to your calculators. As I see you starting to type it in, to get x alone, you have to divide off cos of 52. So you're going to, in your calculator, do 19 divided by the cos of 52 degrees. And let's round it to the 10th. I'm going to give you a second to type it in. Because part of it is getting the right answer off your calculator, knowing how to use your calculator. All right, what do you got for x? 30.9. 30.9 for the width. Got it. And I do have my calculator open if you need me to punch one in. If you're not sure how to type it in, I can show you. All right, let's look at number 2. So again, I first look at the angle. Not 30, 60, not 45, 45, 90. So I have to use SOH-CAH-TOA. Okay, so we've got this time the opposite side of the angle. And of course our longest side is our hypotenuse. We know that. So opposite hypotenuse, that's going to be our first trig ratio, sine. So sine 69, opposite over hypotenuse. So there's the geometry setup. Now you got to solve for x. So I'm going to multiply each side by the denominator. Now from here, I know I see you guys typing in your calculators. You can do it. We're going to divide off that sine of 69. All right, punch it in. 16 divided by sine of 69, round to the top. Final answer. Who's got it?
17.
Perfect, Nathan. So, before we move on, any questions on how to type those in the calculator? I'm happy to pull it up and show you. Too easy. Okay, so we are doing more of the same today, really. Notice it says solve the right triangle. So first let's talk about what do they really want from you when it asks you to solve a right triangle. So a few things you got to fill in on the notes. To solve a right triangle, that means, of course, we want to find all the sides and all the angles. So think about this. In a triangle, there are 3 sides, 3 angles. There's 6 pieces of information. Now, we're not so mean we're going to make you do all 6. We're going to give you half of it today. I'm going to give you 3 pieces of information. You are going to need to find the other 3. So I'm going to give you half. I'm going to give you 50%. Okay? That's not too shabby. Now again, it's going to be a free-for-all what I use today. Meaning, I might use SOH-CAH-TOA, like we did in the last problems. I might use Pythagorean theorem even. I might use the 30, 60, 90 stuff if I have it. We probably don't. But I'm mostly probably using Pythagorean theorem and SOH-CAH-TOA today. All right, so let's take a look at it. Solve the right triangle. Round decimal answers to the 10th. So let's see what I gave you. Remember, I'm giving you 3 pieces. I'm giving you half. I gave you one of the angles, 90. Gave you a second angle, 42. One of the sides. So 1, 2, 3 pieces of information. You've got 3 to go. Get excited. Now, let's label we need these 2 sides. You can call them whatever you want, X and Y, whatever. Just to make it easy on ourselves, across from angle A, I'm going to call it side A. You can call it a different letter if you want. I'm just being generic. Across from angle B, side B. Now, do I care which side you find first? A or B? No, I don't care. Pick what. I'm going to do A because, I don't know, I feel like it. So let's see. For my 42 degrees, we've got our opposite side I want to find, and I gave you the hypotenuse. Now, not a special right triangle. I'm going to have to use my SOH-CAH-TOA. Obviously, opposite hypotenuse, we need sine. So I'm going to do sine of 42 degrees equals the opposite over hypotenuse. Now, from here, it's a calculator problem. Most of you don't even need to write any more work. You can just do it. And multiply each side by 50 to clear out the fraction. All right, so punch it in your calculator. What is 50 times the sine of 42? What do you got? And again, I'm just going to punch one in just to make sure we're all on the same page here. Make sure in degrees, 50, sine 42. And it says round to the 10th. So I'm going to put it as 33.5. Let's go with. Okay. Now, this is just me. I like to label it on the picture. You don't have to. I put who I want. So, I say I have another side to go. Let's get B. Go back to full screen here. Now, here is where you have a choice, my friends. And I'm going to show you both ways. I could care less how you do it. So, you need B. So, I could do another trig ratio. I could do sine, cos, or tan. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Because now I want the side next to B, adjacent. And of course, we still have that given hypotenuse. So adjacent, hypotenuse, COSA. So I could do cos of 42 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Or, here's the or, if you know 2 sides on a triangle, you could use Pythagorean theorem if you wanted. I could do B squared plus the side we found squared equals the hypotenuse squared. I don't care what you do, you'll get the same answer. It's totally up to you today. You have a choice, okay? I just set up the first one. Let's do that. So I'm going to times by 50. And again, I'm not going to show everyone, but let me just show you a couple on the calculator. So 50 cos of 42. And again, we're going to round to the 10th, so I'm going to put 37.2 for it. Got it. You will get the same exact answer if you do the Pythagorean theorem. Now, we're still not done, because we're almost done. This is going to be easy. Remember, there's 6 total pieces on a triangle, 3 angles, 3 sides. I'm giving you half. We should have 3 answers. I've got 2. I've got the sides. I have 1 missing piece. We don't know what angle B is. So let's get that. Oh, that scared me.
Please excuse the interruption. Can we have any students that rode bus 7 to school today this morning report to the nurse's office, please?
Oh,
any
no.
Students that rode...
All right, back to angle B. Oh, my goodness. So easy way to get angle B. You can do it all in your calculator. Because all 3 angles in a triangle add up to how many degrees? Do you remember? 180. So really, I don't even write any work for this, but I clearly am going to for your notes. I just, in my calculator, I do 180. I take off the 90-degree angle for C. Well, let's be real. We can do that in our heads, right? And then I take off angle A to see how much is left. So really, in my calculator, I just do 90 minus 42, 58. Got it. So I have 1, 2, 3 answers. I'm done. We have every piece of the puzzle on this triangle. So like I said, I'm not teaching you anything new. We all know SOH-CAH-TOA, okay? It's just more pieces on the picture that you have to find. In the past, I've only asked you for one side or one angle. Now we're asking for one side. All right, let's do a couple more. Get excited. Solve the right triangle. Okay, so let's take a look. First, I'm going to label what is it I need to find. Well, we need our hypotenuse. I'm just going to call it side C. And we need angle B and angle A. Let's get the hypotenuse, okay? So easy way to get the hypotenuse, if you know two sides of a right triangle, I'd go old school Pythagorean theorem. That's easy enough. Side squared.
I thought you could just double sided.
Say that again, or what?
I thought you could just double sided key.
I can if it's a 30, 60, 90,
Oh.
but I don't know if it is. I wish it was, Chase, because that would be less work, right? Okay, so let's do our Pythagorean theorem. Calculators out, 3 squared is 9. Punch it in with 17 squared. And I just want to show too here, I just want to make sure we're clear in our calculators what we're doing. So 17 squared, of course, 289. Now, most of your calculators, I think I've talked about it, I haven't actually shown it, of course, are sophisticated enough. I just type in the 3 squared plus the 17 squared and have it do it all in one big shot for me. 9 plus 289, of course, 298. And then, of course, get rid of your squaring with the root. And again, I just want to show you this, especially those that have the graphing calculators. I'm going to hit square root, so second x squared. Now, if you don't want to type in 298, let's say it was some gross bigger number, you can pull up your previous answer. If you hit second and the negative key, that automatically like cuts and pastes in that 298 for you. I don't have to actually type it. So I'm going to round it to the 10th, 17.3. Nothing new. Pythagorean theorem was our very first lesson in good old chapter 9. Now, I've only got one thing. I need 2 more. Remember, we should have 3 answers. So we need angle A, angle B. Does it matter which you find first? No, doesn't matter. Pick one. I'm going to do A because I don't know, I feel like doing A. Now, because I don't have a special triangle, 45, 45, 90, or 30, 60, 90, I'm going to have to use SOH-CAH-TOA. That's my only other choice, people. So I'm going to look at angle A. They gave us the opposite side, and they also gave us the adjacent side. So I'm going to work off my opposite adjacent tangent. So I'm going to do tan of A equals opposite over adjacent. Now, this is what I showed you last time I saw you. To get the angle in your calculator, you have to hit second tan, or tan inverse. So just because this is our first angle to find of the day, let me just once again show you how to pop that in your calculator. So second tan. So make sure you have the inverse. 17, and hit enter. So well, that's easy enough. If I round that to the 10th, let's just put 10 degrees for it. Make it easy on ourselves. So I've got 2 answers. Clearly, we need a third. We still need angle B. Now, we can do B just in our calculators, just like the last time. All angles add to 180. So I'm going to take off the right angle, and I'm going to take off angle A. I can do that in my head. I got a 180 minus a hundo, 80. And it doesn't matter. Like I decided to find angle A first because I don't know, I felt like it. You could have found B first. It won't matter. You will get the same answers. So you can work in a different order than what I did. All right, you're up. You try this one. So let's first label. I'm just going to help you with the labeling. So we need the side across from angle A, and you need the side across from angle B. So just so we all kind of work in the same order, let's find side A first. Now, you do not have a special right triangle. You don't have a 30, 60, 90, or 45, 45, 90. So you're using SOH-CAH-TOA. So figure out which side is this, adjacent, opposite, or hypotenuse. Figure out what this one is, adjacent, opposite, or hypotenuse. Do your trig ratio. So I'm going to give you a few seconds for sides and label them. So from our 22.5, I asked you to find the opposite side, straight across, and they gave you the longest side, your hypotenuse. So which trig ratio has opposite and hypotenuse? What did you use? Sine, cos, or tan? Sine, cos, or tan for opposite and hypotenuse. Tan's opposite adjacent. So, somebody, anybody? Sine, yeah. So sine of 22.5 equals opposite over hypotenuse. Now from there, most of you can punch it in your calculator. We're just going to get rid of that denominator, so you're going to times both sides by 12. All right, so for side A, I'm going to look here. Side A should have ended up with about 4.6. How'd we do on that? Good, bad, a little both. Now you have a choice for B. For B, side B I'm talking about, I'm going to do that one in blue. You have a choice. I could do another trig ratio because B, of course, is next to my angle, so my adjacent side. And obviously you got your hypotenuse still. Or, this is the or, you could do Pythagorean theorem. Side squared plus side squared equals hypotenuse squared. Don't care, you'll get the same thing. Nathan?
Wait, why did you use sine on that one?
Because I needed the opposite side, and they gave you the hypotenuse.
Oh, I was using the other side as the hypotenuse. Never mind.
Oh, gotcha. So I'm going to do this one with a trig ratio just to practice the trig ratio stuff. Which trig ratio has adjacent and hypotenuse? Adjacent and hypotenuse. Which one is that? C, cosine, yep. So cos of 22.5 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Now, from there, you can obviously calculator it, multiply each side by 12. Punch that in your calculator, round to the 10. You should have gotten something close to 11.1. So I got two answers. What's the last thing you need to find? Yeah, our last angle. We need angle B. Now, do I really need to do any work, or can I just really punch that in my calculator? So in the calculator, I don't need work for that. I clearly don't remember the answer. I'm going to look 67.5. All right. So we've done all of this. It's just more work. Okay. Is Chris still working on his bus?
Could I find
That I don't know, Chris. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let's finish this last triangle, Chris. Last triangle. Okay. So I'm going to try not to giggle about this. So let's label what we're missing. We need the side across from B. We need angle A and angle B. So the things we need side B, we need angle A, angle B. So let's just kind of have that in the back of our heads. Now, you've got two sides on the triangle. Easiest way to find side B, get ready for it, I'd go old school Pythagorean theorem. Side squared plus side squared equals hypotenuse squared. Okay, I'm going to give you a few seconds. You solve it, round it to the 10th. Correctamundo, 8.3. Now, just especially because I know a lot of you have nice scientific or graphing calculators, I can pretty much do this one in my calculator because I know I'd have to subtract the 10 squared off. So I just type in 13 squared minus 10 squared. That's going to give you what Nathan said, the 69. Now I just have to square root it. So a lot of that you can do in your calculators too. Okay, so moving on. We got one of our three pieces of info. I'm just going to cross off side B. We just found it. So now we need angle A, angle B. Doesn't matter which one we find. I don't care. Pick one. I don't know. Just to mix it up, I did A first on the last time. Let's do B first. So I'm going to have to use a SOH-CAH-TOA, a trig ratio, because I don't know if this is 30, 60, 90, or 45, 45, 90. So sides. Let's look at the sides they gave us. We have the longest side, hypotenuse. And you have the side next to the angle. Next to is adjacent. Which trig ratio has adjacent and hypotenuse? Sine, cos, or tan? We should know it like the back of our hand now. Which one is that?
Which ones?
Adjacent and hypotenuse.
Cos.
Cos. So I'm going to do the cos of B equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Now, to get the angle in your calculator, what do you have to hit? Just cosine or second cosine? Second. So you're going to do cos inverse of 10 divided by 13. Okay, punch that in for me. And remember, you are rounding to the 10th. Round to the 10th. What do we got? Sarah? 39.7. Agreed. Okay, so we got angle B. I'm crossing that off. Last thing we have then is angle A. Now, this is the one where you can do this with no work because all the angles should add to 180. So in our calculators, we're going to take off the right angle. I mean, really, we can do that in our head. And then we're going to subtract the 39.7. So it's 180 minus 90 minus 39.7. 50 point, what do you got? 3. Good. All right. So, I taught you nothing new today, my friends, nothing new. We used SOH-CAH-TOA, we found the angles. So, of course, I've got a worksheet for you for homework.